Hi Shemai, Sitachi, long time no see, croeso I Chris. Doughy, what is cracking, ladies, gents, boys and girls, anyone who is anyone today. Today we are talking about the solo queue experience. And it's taken me this long to make a video because I had a tooth removed, and then because my job is so toxic and so stressful, it just didn't recover, and it hurt to talk, and it hurt to do everything. But you know, it's healed now, so I'm back in black. But yeah, let's talk about Dead by Daylight. Let's talk about the solo queue experience. Now, as somebody who primarily plays solo queue, occasionally I have a duo. Primarily I play solo queue. What I found is that after healing was gutted, after Circle of Healing was killed, just left to rot, and then Dead Hard is just sort of floating in the water, being nibbled out by fishes. The game is just an oppressive, unpleasant experience where you're constantly dealing with tunneling and camping and then toxic squad mates who just sort of grief you for no reason whatsoever other than because you're by yourself. The game is actually quite hostile if you're by yourself, and then without being able to put down a boon so you can heal yourself, you're relying on teammates who might not necessarily heal you out of spite. So with Dead Hard, I don't really care for Dead Hard. I'd occasionally run it just to get some value out of it, but it wasn't my favourite pick. So healing though, you know, if you're not getting healed by your teammates, you can run off, get a med kit, heal yourself, and you're sort of okay for the time being. But with the most recent update, all of that is gone, and by and large it's just, again, it's not a very nice experience solo queue at the moment. Jump on Reddit and it just seems to be killer mains unironically just gaslighting survivors and blaming them for literally everything since, I don't know, the Black Plague. What I'm saying is, if like me you are a solo queue survivor and after the update you're sort of playing the game, you're like, wow, this is actually really unpleasant, I'm getting tunneled maybe 7 out of 10 games, camped maybe 6 out of 10, 4 out of 10, that's a bit of a jump. And then when you go on the forums or Twitter or Reddit, it's just killers saying, oh, we need to rework exhaustion perks, we need to nerf spine chill, we need to nerf pebble, distraction, or whatever it is. You're sort of sat there and you're between a rock and a hard place because ultimately you have been completely and utterly declawed. Well, I feel declawed. You know, a lot of solo queue survivors who are better than me are just going to be like, oh, it's no big deal. But for me personally, as somebody who's, I'm going to say, average at best, it's quite a big blow. It's quite a big blow. The skill flow has risen for me, and it feels like it's gone down a bit more for killers. You know, tunneling feels like more of a problem than ever because there's literally nothing to deter tunnelers from tunneling. You know, beforehand you can put down a Circle of Healing, run off, lose the killer, heal yourself, and you're back in the game. Maybe you'd have Dead Hard to prolong the chase, but now those perks are dead. You're literally relying on off the record, and then off the record is going to be nerfed into the ground next update, is what I can imagine. And ultimately what I'm saying is, it just feels like behaviour keep taking these perks away from survivors to defend themselves against tunneling, and now tunneling is a problem. It's a problem, and I think it causes so much grief it should be considered griefing at this point. And I don't think behaviour not tackling tunneling is a case of them being totally okay with it. I think it's more of a case of behaviour being behaviour, and there isn't a simple band-aid fix that they just place over it, so they choose to ignore it in hopes that it goes away. But yeah, you know, if give me your opinion on tunneling. Put it in the comments. Do you think it's griefing? Do you think it's okay? I want to get a general discussion as I turn this video around and we talk about something a bit more uplifting, a little bit more fun, a little bit more on point. So, my solo queue survivor brethren, what I'm going to suggest to you is, because killer is, I'm going to say it, killer's kind of pretty easy. Killer's pretty easy. Maybe now is the time to stop playing solo queue survivor for the time being, and jump on the killer. Because I can't help but feel as if a lot of the toxicity, a lot of the resentment is built up on just because people don't want to try out the other side for a bit. You know, there's a lot of empathy to be gained by playing killer if you only play survivor, and there's a lot of empathy to be gained if you play killer by playing survivor. You know, you can step in the other person's shoes and you can see, is this an issue, is that an issue? And what I'm saying is, maybe it's time to play killer, because as solo queue survivor you're pretty much screwed unless you're with a good 3 men, and then, you know, there's like a 9 out of 10 chance you're just going to get tunneled. But what I'm going to say is, just play killer, it's fun. And with a survivor experience, you've got a bit of an edge. You sort of know what the survivors are going to do. You can sort of outplay them a little bit in a way that I think killers who only play killer might not be able to. And if you think tunneling's such a problem like me, well, I hate tunneling. If you think tunneling is a problem, then just play killer and don't tunnel, because that's what I do. And I'm still getting like 4Ks, 3Ks. It depends on if I give them a hash. It depends on, honestly, it depends on some DCs at the start of the game, and I might just let them all go because, like, YOLO, I can. But yeah, ultimately, I think if you only play solo queue survivor and you're getting bogged down by all the negativity that the game is giving you, then try killer, because killer, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like being smothered with a pillow, taking a pillow off, and like, boys, let's hook some bad boys. Not bad boys, they're pretty neutral. Let's hook some people. And it's just lovely. But then on the flip side, as now like a newly reborn killer main, I play Nemesis. Good, he's a good killer. I like the whip. You do realise how toxic survivors can be, how needlessly toxic survivors can be, and how toxic they can be to such an extent that it costs them the entire game. For instance, today, whilst trying to think up a video to make, I was playing on the Grim Pantry. The absolute, oh, I hate that map. It is, get it out of the game. Well, don't get it out of the game, just rework, make it bigger, do something with it to make it more interesting. Playing Grim Pantry with a Yui, a Fang, a Jill, and who was the other one? A Kate. And yeah, it was a toxic format. That was fun, but it got to a point where I had to bleed them out, and it was really boring. I felt bad, and at the end of the day, one of the Kates, the Kate who was like probably the least toxic, tried bargaining. But at the end of the day, like, if you're part of a four-man, and they made us go to this map. I say us, me. Well, us, yeah. They made us go to this map with the intentions of bullying me, and it cost them the game because I wasn't born yesterday. And this is the thing, guys. I think if you're going to play killer as a solo queue survivor, you have all the power in the world to stop tunneling. Well, you can't stop them definitely, but you can choose not to tunnel. But then killers, if you don't like toxic survivors, then maybe, jump into a game and just don't be toxic. We can sort out the majority of the problems in the game ourselves just by being that change, which is really cringe to say out loud. But it's true, as I don't tunnel as a killer. I try not to slug. If obviously it's a toxic format, I do what I have to. But by and large, I try to be fair, I try to be pleasant, and I try to make a fun game. And I think that if maybe you as a killer, you're frustrated with the state of the game, maybe they nerfed your favourite perks into the ground, and I'm going to say I use a lot of those perks. They're not dead, they are perfectly usable. We need to calm down a bit. Then maybe play Survivor. Try out Survivor and then have fun. Maybe be a nice Survivor. Don't bully the killer. Just be friendly, be fair. Obviously don't give them a win. Your fun is not someone else's responsibility. Their fun is not your responsibility. But in the same breath, just have fun. Have fun. Be nice. Don't treat these people like they're subhuman. Be nice. I think the toxicity problem is a problem we could deal with ourselves because behaviour, unless you can put like a band-aid or a plaster, if you're from the UK, which I don't know why I didn't start with that in the first place. If they can't put a plaster over it, it's not going to get fixed, because if you can't fix it with a perk, that's inevitably going to get nerfed into the ground because it goes shooting up the pick rates. It's just not going to happen. But the message of this video is, as a solo queue survivor, maybe it is time to try out killer. For instance, I'd recommend Nemesis. I used to be a dredge main. I say a dredge main. I've had so many killer mains on the side. I used to play dredge. I play Nemesis. Nemesis is pretty balanced, pretty fun overall. Pick a killer and play him, learn him, and enjoy the game. I think now is the perfect time. If you are disenfranchised, if you are let down by the game, jump on the killer and have a ball. Obviously you can dodge lobbies. I'm not going to judge you. I don't really care. And then maybe if you as a killer you feel particularly oppressed because they ruined your favorite perks, try playing Survivor. And I mean, like, as a killer you get more BPs, so you can pump them into a Survivor. You've probably got like a fat wad of BPs to pump into a Survivor. That sounds weird, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, the message is we can be the change that we want to see. Obviously, toxicity is a problem, but yeah, jump in and just don't be toxic. Be the breath of fresh air that makes survivors jump into the next game and be nice to that killer, or be the breath of fresh air that makes that killer jump into their next game and be nice to the survivors. At the end of the day, positivity is key. Live, laugh, love. We can make the world turn around, and yeah, just love. So that's about it from me, ladies and gents. I want to reiterate, yeah, if you're disenfranchised with the side that you play, maybe, just try out the other side. It'll be fun and you'll enjoy the game. But yeah, it's a message that's going to get out to like 10 of you, so it is what it is. But without further ado, guys, take care, live, laugh, love. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you on the flip side. And obviously, if you see me in any of the games, feel free to say hi, give me a cheeky teabag, give me a cheeky nod, okay? Ta-ra, guys.